We have to imagine the wish fulfilled for imagination to take action. Okay, those are Neville's words. It's a very powerful statement. It's a very ballsy statement, if I'm honest, okay? But what he's getting at, and he talks about prior to this, is this idea of compulsion. And he talks about what compulsion is, right? Because he even says that people would come to him and say, oh, this is really, really hard, or this is taking too much time. And so he said, let me tell you a little secret. And that's where this quote comes from, right? And so this is what he's doing, is he's creating a separation between effort and effortlessness, okay? And so he says, you have to first imagine the wish fulfilled for imagination to take action, okay? So if you're using the work of Neville Goddard, what the heck does that even mean, okay? So you have to become it. And in that same sentence, he talks about assumption, okay? And this is, by the way, again, one of the most misunderstood terms, I think, in all of his work. Because he ties a dare to the assume, right? I dare you to assume, okay? So that means assumption isn't just something that you do. Like, I just get up and assume. No. You have to dare. And so remember that? Like, remember when you were a kid, or maybe even do it now? I do it now. I'm practically like a member of the Jackass crew. But anyhow, is what you do is you dare, right? You dare yourself to assume. But dares are, I bet you can't do that, right? I dare you to do that. In fact, I triple dog dare you. Remember that from the Christmas Story? Great Christmas movie. Don't watch the second one, depressing. But again, dare to assume. That means you're being challenged. You're being challenged this second to say, I'm no longer that person. I'm not accepting the limiting beliefs. I'm not accepting the old state, right? I dare you, okay? So people really, really misunderstand what Neville is saying because they separate his words out. But if you find the link between what he's saying, you end up encountering a much more powerful, not just understanding of the law or manifestation or living your best life, but actually rules for living the best life, right? And techniques. I truly believe this with my whole heart. Almost everything he writes, and when I say everything, I'm talking about just every sentence. I don't think there's one sentence yet I haven't found a technique in Neville's work. This is the same for the Bible as well, right? Everything's a guidebook. So when he's daring you to assume, it's a technique, okay? Assumption is a dare. It's I dare you. I triple dog dare you. Okay? That means you take all of those limiting beliefs, all those fears, all the childhood misinterpretations of how your parents mistreated you, treated you well, whatever it is, you take all of those, and I dare you to assume you're not that, right? But then, daring to assume is in twofold. There's layers. The first layer is, I dare you to assume you're not that. Then, I dare you to assume you are that. So then you start taking on the body of beliefs, or the state, as Neville defines it, as I dare you to assume the state of being a rich person. I dare you to assume the state of being loved and celebrated and famous. I dare you to assume that you're married, right? Whatever it is, assumption is a dare. That's a better way to understand what Neville is talking about. So when he goes on and says that the imagination will do nothing unless you enter into the wish fulfilled, that's what you're doing. You're assuming that you are it now. That's stepping into the wish fulfilled, okay? And again, how do you do that? So practically speaking, what is the wish fulfilled? It's anything that you desire, that you find satisfaction, joy, meaning, purpose, excitement, adventure from, right? All of those emotions that you would want to feel anyways if you were going to experience it, okay? So again, you understand that the wish fulfilled is the daring to assume technique, right? You're daring. So, but the process of getting there is that you have to work through and get yourself into, and this is what Neville says, into a state of self-convincing, okay? So the assumption is a state of self-convincing that you are who you say you are, who has what you want, right? And so what does that mean for you? You saturate, you drench, you intensify, you take your feelings to the nth degree, according to Neville, right? And these are all techniques: intensification, drenching, the nth degree. Those are all techniques from Neville's work, right? And you amplify and you amplify and you amplify. And so I want to give you a tip on how to do that, okay? So let's say you're creating the scene from the first person, okay? From the first person, that means you're seeing through your eyes, okay? So then if you're looking at something, you're only seeing this, okay? You're only seeing this. You're only seeing your legs, obviously not somebody else's. And whatever you're wearing and your favorite shoes. I always like to actually start by looking down at my shoes. Got that tip from good old Joseph Ally. Check out his stuff as well. And so you want to look down at your shoes. Move your feet, wiggle them, move, right? And then get into that. And then now work up a state. Work up an emotional state. Okay, you can use techniques like Wim Hof, whatever it is to get you into that breathing state. In fact, Neville used a similar breathing technique that pretty much mirrors the work of Wim Hof, right? And you generate. But one technique that you can do is when you're creating the scene from the first person is imagine there's a physical knob on the screen, like right here, right? Like right here, okay? And that you can actually turn it, okay? And that as you turn it, you amplify the feelings. Amplify it again and again and again and again. And then when you think it's too much, 10 times, right? And you keep going and going and going, okay? But then that needs to lead to conviction, okay? Because otherwise you're just gonna wake up hyper, okay? And that leads to, I am this. That's why it's a dare. I am this. I am rich. I am loved. I'm celebrated, right? So this is what you do. You begin that process of understanding that the imagination not only is the most powerful thing, but that it works on a dare. It literally operates because you have imagined the wish fulfilled. This is what Neville says, right? It will not start working unless you imagine the wish fulfilled. And so again, you're sitting in that within, but then you're reinforcing it by using emotively charged affirmations or scripting or whatever techniques that you do. You amplify whatever you're doing to that degree that which you end up being convinced you are that person. Right? And that's how you operate the imagination. Okay? It's very, very key and very important. So, hope this was helpful. Jump on, let me know your thoughts. Try these out and be safe in the world, and much love to everybody. Thank you so much.